John Campbell kept in good physical shape here at CBHS as a swimmer and in good mental shape as an honor roll member. His school spirit stayed in shape on our stage and in Gold Brothers. This past Friday evening, he would have been happy to shout with the students at the close of the MUS basketball game. "It's great to be a brother's boy," as our team put the hurt on the Owls in their own house. John went on to Memphis to complete his Bachelor of Arts degree in 1980, and then his law degree there in 1983. He began his legal career downtown in the public defender's office, working in the criminal courts of Shelby County. In 1985, he was appointed District Attorney General for the 30th Judicial District of Tennessee in Memphis, and served in that capacity until 2012, when he was appointed by Governor Haslam to the bench and Criminal Court Division 6 to replace outgoing Judge John Folks, who moved to the federal courts. He was Deputy District Attorney in the office of our current Attorney General, Amy Wyrick, whom we're honored to have with us today, whose son is also a CBHS grad. And in the educational spirit of the brothers, Judge Campbell has taught the subjects of trial advocacy and ethics. He's been a technical advisor to the National Civil Rights Museum regarding the legal aspects of the lives of James Earl Ray and Martin Luther King Jr. John and his dear wife of 35 years, Debbie, have raised 3 children, Molly, Ross, and our CBHS grad, Tide. A perfect cameo newspaper picture a few years ago in the Commercial Appeal shows John as the prosecuting attorney in the Workman case, CBHS grad Robert Hutton as the defense attorney, and Hall of Famer and grad Judge John Colton was on the bench, all working for our state justice system. They practiced the ideals of Christian Brothers High School. And this afternoon, John, we acknowledge in public the good work you do for our county, and we pronounce a good sentence for you. You're a Hall of Famer at CBHS.
I want to thank the Hall at this time for this great honor. I never thought that this would happen. I think a lot of people have said the same thing. It just never occurred to me that I would ever be elected to the Hall of Fame, and I really appreciate it. And I was telling Ms. Frazier back when I got notice that when I was in grade school, my parents owned a frame shop, and we would frame the composite for the Hall of Fame every year. And I remember doing that a bunch of times. I never thought that I would wind up in that frame. Christian Brothers means a lot to me, and it's one of those things where, like the sun rising in the east, I always knew I was going to be at Christian Brothers. And my parents really emphasized that to me. And the interesting thing was they were not from Memphis. They moved from St. Louis. And I was adopted at 6 weeks. So I had no siblings here, but it was always assumed that I was going to go to Christian Brothers and how much it meant to me to come here and what an impact it had. At the time that I was here, I didn't realize it, but it had such a profound effect on me. Brother Joel was my English teacher, and I know that he will tell you that I probably wasn't the best student in the world, but he got me writing, and my writing was always a problem because my spelling was so bad. And this was back before you had a word processor, so we had to type it on a manual typewriter, and he would make you retype it if you had any mistakes in spelling. So I had to retype it a lot. And thank God for spell check now, because my spelling is still really, really bad. But that I never really realized at the time how important writing was until I became an attorney. And now as a judge, because everything I do, I have to put in writing. I have to explain myself in writing. And I believe that, Brother Joel made it very clear that you needed to make your point clear and concise. And I worked hard at that, at editing down and making things make sense and not using too many words, because in law, there's not too many too many other areas where an 80-page document is called a brief. I didn't believe that, so I try to keep mine where people will actually read it. But up until that point, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And by the time I left Christian Brothers, I had a pretty good idea where I wanted to go. And what I learned from here has taken me through my entire life. And service is a big part of being in Christian Brothers. And it's been a big part of my life. And I want to thank y'all for this honor. My family's here. I really appreciate that. My 201 family's here too, which I really appreciate. And I thank the Hall for this honor. Thank y'all.